Alright, so we're going to be on a little bit of a journey, and I ask you guys to come along with me. So I'm going to be doing everything within my power in order to try and shorten down these videos. Not because I want to make specifically shorter videos, because I actually like the length that I'm making them currently now, about 10 to 15 minutes each. But I'm on a journey to try and shorten them down, to try and find myself to get to the point. I find myself in a lot of my videos stammering, stuttering, trying to basically repeating the same thing over and over. And I find myself doing that a lot, and I kind of want to try to take this time to improve myself as a YouTuber, not only for myself, but for you guys. So we're going on a little bit of a journey. A lot of the videos that we're going to be doing in the future are going to be shorter, a little more streamlined, a little less on the detail, to try and really just kind of like improve myself. So here we are with Cardfight Vanguard 0. It's been a week since the Awakening of Twin Blades booster set has dropped, and we are going to be talking about the improvements of the 5 clans that are premiered in this box, with the debut of Shadow Paladin and reoccurring support for Royal Paladin, Kagero, OTT, and Nova Grapplers. I'm going to get it out the way right now. Nova Grappler, OTT, and Kagero, the support that they got was bare minimal, and it's not going to impact the way any of those decks play. OTT and Nova Grappler are still top tier decks in the game currently, and the support that they did get, while the OTT support is vastly better than the Kagero and Nova Grappler, it's not really making much headway, as the deck is already super impressive with the likes of Tsukiyomi, really just making the deck super consistent. Azure Dragon and Dragonic Overlord the Greats later. They're not doing much of anything, because if you haven't been hearing me talking in a lot of my recent Vanguard videos, I do not like Persona Blasts. So, both these cards are Persona Blasts. Now, just because of that opinion alone isn't what's knocking them, it's just they're not really making much headway. While yes, the end is a fair finisher, Azure Dragon just kind of sucks. We have much better current Nova Grappler support to really assist the deck in the first place, such as Blows and Risers. Those are much better boss units to be riding into and building your decks around. And the Beast Deity support is very minimal. Now, I will admit, the Kagero support is actually relatively nice, as they got access to a 12k beater and a few other nice things. But overall, the support that they got isn't really messing with the decks all that much. The 2 decks that really got the biggest support, obviously, because one got their debut, is Royal Paladin and Shadow Paladin. I almost called them Dark Paladins. Which, I mean, they are. But anyway, Royal Paladin got the likes of Majesty Lord Blaster, which you actually could see on the screen right now. Majesty Lord Blaster, absorbing both Blaster Dark and Blaster Blade, will give him 10k and will permanently increase his crit value by 1, making his original crit value 2. Now, this lasts for the entire game, so if you can actually get this set up on your very first grade 3 ride, you are sitting on a Vanguard with a 12k base, because he gets an additional 2,000 if both those units are in the soul, as well as a unit that is hitting for 2 damage every time. The 12k base helps for defensive and offensive support, and the double crit is basically what pushes your games. You really only need to get this off once, and you're practically golden. And the support that they got in the forms of Starcall Trumpeter, Wingle Brave, and old support with the likes of Solitary Knight Gancelot help really make the deck super consistent, as Gancelots help search out for Blaster Blades, Wingle Braves help searches out for specific blasters, and Starcall Trumpeter allows you to call a blaster out into the field with, when placed with a counter blast of 2, allowing you to get that much needed blaster out in the field if you really need it. You're missing the grade 3, you have Wingle Brave to back you up, and you have other beaters such as the Knight of Friendships, which I forget their names, who both get plus 3,000 when attacking if they have a Blaster Vanguard, one being a grade 2 with 9k and the other a grade 1 with 7k. This allows them to hit those magic numbers in order to take out specific rear guards, or even deal damage to the Vanguard, as you most of the time will have a Blaster Vanguard. The support that Royal Paladin got in this set is absolutely phenomenal, and I 100% highly recommend any Royal Paladin player to be picking up this support, as it really makes the deck much more consistent and really makes Royal Paladin as a whole much more better as a whole clan. I definitely do believe that this support is moving them up at least a little bit amongst the other clans, as they were one of the bottom clans for quite some time, especially upon release. Shadow Paladins, the big thing with Shadow Paladins is they actually have a very prominent prominent ride chain. A lot of the clans that we have currently did get ride chains to help get to the specific grade 3, and Shadow Paladins is no joke. What they did get helps them practically guarantee their ride into Phantom Blaster Dragon. The biggest problem with Shadow Paladin as a whole, while the rest of the deck runs pretty well, they have some good beater options such as Masquerade, who is a 12k beater. They have great grade 2 options for draw power, such as Skull Witch the main, which is a counterblast 1, drop 1 card, draw 2 cards, so you're always plussing 1 and getting rid of unneeded cards in your hand to try and refill it with something that you couldn't need. Their grade 3 game is relatively lacking. Phantom Blaster Dragon, which is the main card that the deck is built around, currently has a counterblast 2, sack 3 units to get 10k in a crit. This ability in the state of Vanguard 0 sucks. And the reason why it sucks is because if you're not managing your hand, or you're getting rather unlucky with your triggers, or you're not really getting the Skull Witch the mains to help keep your hand pressure up, it's not gonna do too well for you if you're sacking your entire field without the means of replenishing it. And even when it does come time to replenish it, most of the time you will be perfect guarded, as there are plenty of ways for these decks to actually get out perfect guards, as almost everyone is running draw triggers, because why would you not? And has a good late game option, but as an early game, it lacks heavily. Its cross-ride variant, Phantom Blaster Overlord, really his only useful skill is the Counterblast 2 to retire one of your rear guards, to retire an opponent's rear guard. This allows you to pop out pesky grade 2s out in the field, but on top of the main being one of the main units that you want to run for Counterblasts, that might actually limit the amount of times that you can do this, but it is a very clutch skill. His other skill is a Persona Blast, drop a Overlord out of hand to get plus 10k and a crit. Fairly standard, but it's not anything too great solely because it's a Persona Blast. Even if your luck is on point, you might only find yourself using this about once or twice, maybe at most, if you are lucky. All of the Shadow Paladin players that I have gone up against so far have actually successfully gotten this Persona Blast off, but have only been able to use it once, and I have perfect guarded them almost each and every single time. So, while they do have a lot of impressive stuff, a very good ride chain to help them get to their specific grade 3, they have a cross ride allowing them to sit at 13k base. Their boss units aren't really all that too crazy in the skill department, and they really lack in early and mid game. They have great late game finishers, and if you can get to that point, you're pretty much golden. But it's the struggle to get to that point, as we have a lot of decks that are built around aggression and increased crit values, such as the ever-aggressive Pale Moon. We have Dimension Police, who run around getting crits, and things like that a little more consistently than this deck. What this deck shines, though, however, is the ability to draw with the main. You want to have 4 in the mains, as that is the main meat of the deck, so you can keep replenishing your field, you can keep using your stuff, and this way you can use your specific abilities whenever it sees fit. Personally, I think Shadow Paladin is a very solid deck. I believe they're probably middle of the pack when it comes to the other clans. I don't really think they're making too much headway in the meta currently. I don't think they're going to get too far, as I do believe that their early and mid game isn't the greatest, but with very strong late game options, you can definitely easily get to Legend with this deck, just as you could any deck, but you might find yourself struggling a little bit with very aggressively built decks, such as Nova Grapplers or the new Royal Paladin. So, it really depends on how you're able to build and function the deck properly, but those are some key functions to keep an eye out for and to keep an eye on. So, with all that being said, this box as a whole, honestly, you're really only in it for the Royals or the Shadow Paladins. You could dig for Kagero if you're a Kagero player. You could dig for these specific cards if you're a specific card player. Just don't fucking dig for Azure Dragon. That's all I ask. Just don't do that. Azure Dragon's not good at all. There are so many better options that you can have as a grade 3. Even if you're a die-hard Nova Grappler fan, don't play that card. Don't do it. At least not until it gets its cross ride. That's when I would say it's pretty okay, I guess. Sure, whatever. But even then, you're just better off riding the cross ride on its own. But I am digressing. So this box as a whole is pretty solid. If you're going to continue to pull into this box, just give it a little bit, as we're getting new clan pickups coming out relatively soon that'll have increased rates for the specific clans that you want. So wait for that before you continue to dig in. That's exactly what I am doing. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you are willing to go along with this quick journey with me as I try to improve myself for you guys and for myself. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Have a good day.